It's Saturday night,
The kids are in bed,
which means we did it. We survived another week.
so let's talk about it.
From our latest homebrew project,
To kids' crafting project.
it's just talking life with two young kids and two dogs. Grab your favorite beverage, sit back,
Relax.
and see where the conversation takes us.
Sometimes we don't even know until we get there. This is the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of the Craft Parenting Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Joe Ludwig, and with me is my lovely wife and co-host, Caroline. How's it going, Caroline?
It's been a day, but we're going to talk about our day later. So I'm just going to be kind of curious to see how this episode sounds different from our previous episode, since we're back to recording in our home studio instead of being on the road again and just taking over Westside Brewing.
But that was fun.
It was. It was pretty funny watching you kind of like mildly freak out as every person passed by for the first half of recording that episode. And I'm just like, act cool, act confident, pretend like you know what you're doing, and we'll be fine. And we were fine.
Yeah, we may have to do that more often.
We might. I mean, it does get us recorded a bit earlier in the day because we're not waiting until the kids are asleep, since the kids are being watched by someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we could swap up where we go, as long as it still stays pretty much on the west side, because we're lazy and it'll be a weeknight. I don't know. Let us know if you have any suggestions.
But we could do it at 13 Below.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I like there too.
They don't package as much as some of the other breweries do.
Yeah, so it is hard to drink them on the podcast.
Though they do limited packaging. You just have to go to the brewery and buy it from them versus like a Kroger or a Marathon.
This is correct. Though the marathon by us has gotten a little sad. It'll be curious to see if they get better, because even someone in my mom's group complained about it. They're like, hey, I went to this gas station that we normally go to, and there was like zero craft beer there, and there used to always be craft beer there. What is up?
Well, they changed ownership, and I do pass it not as often as I used to because I do work from home these days, but I do pass it quite a lot, and there are help wanted signs, employee bonus.
I mean, that's a lot of places, though. I see that everywhere. We even have that in front of our plant at work.
Yeah. I mean, that's the world we're living in now, but my understanding is they switched owners and they didn't keep any of the staff. I'm assuming it was a family-owned business.
I would assume so as well, and they just changed families.
But during the pandemic, it was handy, so shout out to the marathon at the 5-Way. That is no longer a 5-Way.
And is no longer our destination for craft beer. But maybe one day again it will be.
Though they do have a digital sign, and they have rotating content. I did see that very briefly because I was driving. I was at a red light, but the sign was behind me, so I couldn't look back or whatever. But very briefly, I did see visit our beer cave.
I mean,
on the sign. So I don't know what that means. It's been a while since I've been there. Like, we went, was that for Lily's birthday?
Maybe? No, well.
It was for Lily's birthday. I went there as an emergency beer run. When we had the family over. So that was in September, and it is October 9th as of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, it was very sad. Like, it wasn't at all what it used to be. They even cut out some space because they used the refrigerators more than the previous owner.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
We have a good show planned for you guys this week. We are going to talk about the pumpkin patch, which is what parents do these days in the fall.
Like, I vaguely recall going to pumpkin patches as a kid, but I don't think that it was something that we did every year.
No, it was not a thing for me.
And now mom might be like, wait, we did do that every year. What are you talking about?
No, I remember going to Sunrock Farm.
Is that the place in Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a place in Kentucky that we used to go to.
That was through school. That was not through my parents.
Oh, Wait, because we went to the same elementary school for a hot second.
Yeah, this was in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Is that elementary school?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not preschool.
I thought elementary.
See what I did there?
Well, I don't know what I thought elementary school was first grade.
No, kindergarten through 5th grade is elementary school. The thing that you don't know is middle school, which is 6th through 8th grade, or mileage may vary based on what school district you're in, because your school was just kindergarten through 8th grade.
Yeah. So anyway, we have a good show planned out for you this week.
Yeah. The kids had a blast, which we'll get into later.
We'll get into that later, but first, let's talk about some highlights from this past week.
As mentioned in our previous episode, Donauschwaben's Oktoberfest was last weekend. And we were only planning on taking the kids up for one day because, one, Oktoberfest is insane and our kids really like their sleep. And two, the weather was supposed to be kind of crummy on Sunday, so we didn't necessarily want to bring the kids out on Sunday if we could avoid it.
Spoilers.
And then three, we were supposed to work one of the days. More spoilers. But we decided that since I worked on Saturday a lot more than I was supposed to, I would hang out with Lily on Sunday since Lily had such a blast. So Sunday was Lily and Mommy Day. I mean, I did still work for a hot second, and you worked for a little longer than a hot second.
I worked the entire time pretty much.
Well, I mean, running after Lily is kind of work. So Lily got to dance. Lily kicked butt at Plinko. Like,
yeah, she did.
She only cheated maybe like 3 times, but she didn't like super cheat. Like she started the puck like halfway up the board instead of going behind the board to start it up at the top.
Yeah.
But the first time she did it with me, she started the Plinko at the top and got 3 tickets right off the bat, which was the jackpot, quote unquote.
And what is the currency? So backtrack. Donauschwaben Oktoberfest is the final Oktoberfest of the season.
I mean, there's 1 or 2 after us.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's like a one-off these days. But this is the last big one where there's huge crowds.
So many huge crowds.
Over 25 beers on draft, including Fretboard. Shout out to Fretboard. They make
our house lager.
Yeah, the Donauschwaben has their own beer.
It's called the Schwaben Lager.
It's called the Schwaben Lager, and it's brewed by Fretboard. So shout out to Fretboard for making that for us. And you and I are members, so we are very heavily involved in the Donauschwaben. So there's all kinds of shenanigans going on. There's food, there's a tent for, what is that, the Big Six, there's the Stein Shuffle, there's the Stein Hoisting contest.
Yeah, there used to be the Rat Dude.
Yeah, I don't know what
Fortunately,
happened to him.
Unfortunately, he retired.
Oh, did he?
Yes. He took his wads and wads of money.
A noble career.
And his rats down to Florida is what I heard from the Steinslide dudes.
I always appreciate the Oktoberfest gossip, as it were. So there's the tent with the merchandise booth and all that stuff. And then there's the shelter house, which is where the bands are, and the shop booth. And then there's beer trucks. But I was going to take it back to the Kinderplatz, which is another big tent, kind of at the back half.
Like, people don't realize that it exists because there's like the main Oktoberfest drag, and then there's Kinderplatz, which is kind of like off back in the corner, but it's right next to the playground.
Yeah.
So where else are we supposed to put it?
Yeah, so it's a big tent. It's not as full as I remember from previous years.
I feel like part of that,
as far as games,
might be that the tent is a bit bigger than it used to be in years past.
No, I feel like they didn't have any of the games that I knew.
Part of it might have been they were trying to like do some more social distancing. I don't know.
Perhaps. I don't know about that, but I know they do have trouble getting volunteers.
Because it's a lot of games you have to man.
Right. And my mom ran that booth for over 20. Was it over 20 or was it just 20?
We'll go with 20-ish.
My mom ran that booth for 20 years.
It was a long while. I know you guys were little children and Jenna was in a front pack and she ran it a few years while we were dating and or maybe engaged. I don't know. She had it for a long while.
Well, the 20-year anniversary, I designed the shirt. So the 20th year of Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
She was
in the merchandise
She was at the merchandise booth.
Yeah.
Perhaps that was her first year. So Lily really enjoyed the Plinko, which is a game inside the Kinderplatz tent.
Yeah.
She also really enjoyed the playground.
Oh my goodness. She ran circles around that playground.
Yeah, and there were kids older than her, and she was hyper focused on the slide. And
who cares that those older kids are playing tag and someone's about to get tagged because Lily is gonna go down that slide, and guess what? Y'all just have to wait and while you're it now. I don't care.
Yeah, my fear was they were gonna push her or something. So I was kind of helicopter parenting.
I was more like, they'll figure it out. And for the most part, the kids were really good and super helpful.
Some of them were bad examples. They were going up the slide.
A lot of them were bad examples, but they didn't like shove Lily down into the dirt or run her over just because they were playing tag. For the most part, they were pretty respectful.
She looks like she's 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. But she's actually 2. So I did want to protect her from, getting tackled or whatever. But that did not happen, luckily. But she must have went down that slide 100 times, at least. She just ran. She went up the swing set, down the slide, ran around, but she will go the long way.
I don't know what was going through her little head.
She would go the long way around, and she would run.
She would do a very big loop, and she would just run and run and run.
And then she would go back up the slide, up the playground, place that, and then down the slide. The same slide that I said it was a double slide. She would always go down the left hand. If you're looking at the slide, it was always the left hand slide.
Yeah. Occasionally, she would run under the monkey bars while kids were on the monkey bars. She got whacked. She only got whacked in the head once, which I was like, okay, that's pretty good. And the kid was like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, no, that was totally her fault. You were well within your boundaries of what you were allowed to be doing. Lily just decided, I want to get hit in the head today.
So she had a really good time.
Yeah.
I feel like she plays around kids still. She doesn't play with kids unless it's Maggie.
Oh, if it's Maggie, she'll do anything with Maggie. So Maggie and her danced on the dance floor.
Yeah.
All of the children wanted to spin me around, which was okay with the younger ones, but the older ones, I'm like, dude, you're getting too big for this. You have to help me out here. No, it's fine. I'm like, it's not fine. You're so heavy.
Well, on that note, I do have a question. If I'm the Michael Jackson of German dancing, why does that make my daughter?
I mean, she's obviously a better dancer than you. So
who's a better dancer than Michael Jackson?
I don't know. She's like the Prince of German dancing, because Prince is known as the greatest guitar player ever, I think. I don't know. I just know I had a professor in college who was super into guitars and worked for Gibson as a consultant for a hot second and was super stoked about it and was a huge fan of Eric Clapton. And his quote that he always liked to say was that Eric Clapton would be asked, how does it feel to be the greatest guitar player in the world? And he would say, I don't know, ask Prince. It's the only reason why I know that. And it might not even be true. I don't know. Zero research has gone into this. But yeah, Lily is a better dancer than you. You're just going to have to face it. So Lily loved dancing on the dance floor and then was very bummed when we're like, okay, Lily, we have to sit right here, which is the edge of the dance floor because we actually know the boundaries of the dance floor because Mommy and Daddy's group that they used to dance with are going to get up and dance.
Yeah, so the sheep toddlers performed, and Lily was like, whoa, what is going on?
Yeah, and then halfway through the show, or no, it was towards the end of the show, because it was when they were doing the Holzhacker, or the axe dance, which involves actual sharp axes and actual live dead tree logs? I don't know. Actual logs, actual saws. Lily decided that she had ants in her pants. And we're like, homegirl, no. You have to stay with Mom and Dad. So we're just shoving snacks down her throat. Here, sit, eat this, drink this. Please don't move. But she had a blast.
Wood chips are flying everywhere.
Wood chips are literally flying everywhere. And because we are in the very front, they're landing in our face, but we don't care. And then we got home with Lily at about 6:30, almost 7 o'clock, made sure that she had a snack to eat. And then we're like, girl, you're acting like a hot mess. Let's get into some jammies and have some milk. And Lily went to bed at like 7:15.
Which she never does. She always, if I would put a time down, it would be between 8:30 and 9 these days.
And so
these days, yeah.
I was like, okay, when I leave for work, Lily's going to wake up and be a wild child. And no, Lily's still sleeping. I get to work and I work for a while. And then Joe sends me a text. Hey, Lily just got up. It's like 9:15 a.m. I'm like, wait, math? I'm an engineer. This should be pretty easy. 14 hours. Lily slept for 14 hours recovering from Oktoberfest. I think she had fun.
Yeah, so you know that commercial. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
It's how many hours does it take to recover from Oktoberfest?
How many hours does it take the toddler to recover from Oktoberfest?
Yeah.
It's 14 hours.
Yeah. So on Wednesday, we went to Westside Brewing and recorded we recorded the intro and the outro of an episode there because I had already recorded the meat and potatoes of the episode with Hillary, which I love you, Joe. I know it's so hard to edit because we were so bad at staying on topic because we had a lot to talk about and we get on tangents. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Actually, I think that episode, I didn't really edit anything out.
Oh, it's just a lot of listening. And what are these crazy chicks talking about now?
Yeah, I mean, I assume that it's authentic what you're saying, and the conversation was good. So
it was, because I mean, at one point Hillary was like, "Wait, we're not even talking about what we're supposed to be talking about," and I'm like, "Well, we're not really, but we're talking around it, and these are things that are important to you. Therefore, they're probably important to other people. So we'll just make sure that it's informative." And again, we're not legal, medical, financial, or like tax advice. And then on Friday, Elliot was a model. Elliot got his pictures taken for his quote unquote sitter session because Elliot can sit and crawl and stand and is trying so hard to walk.
He can walk with assistance.
Yeah. He's not even 8 months old yet. My baby needs to stay my baby.
He'll be 8 months old in 4 days.
Okay. As of this recording. Okay. Okay. He's older than I thought he was, but still, he's my baby. But then after everybody got off work, I picked up the kids and we went to a local wing place for dinner where the kids mostly behaved. They both were very hungry and were very demanding about getting food right now.
But what did you drink? You are very excited.
Oh, I finally got to have a March 1st seltzer because I haven't had a March 1st seltzer yet.
It was their cream soda.
Yeah, I got to have the red cream soda. I was like, oh my goodness. It's that thing that everybody talks about. And it was pretty tasty. I can understand the hype. Good job, guys.
Shout out to March 1st and their family of brands.
So many brands. But hey.
I can't even keep up.
If it works.
And also shift beers who do not have anything to do with March 1st.
Nope. Nothing at all to do with March 1st. And then today, which is Saturday, is the main topic of our episode because we took the kids to a pumpkin patch.
So now it's time for What's Bugging Caroline in Children's TV.
Or books. In this case, it's going to be books.
Okay, we're switching things up, and it's about children's books now.
So a while ago, my friend was doing one of those like multi-level marketing kind of deal parties, and I was like, but it was all about books, and I was like, okay, Lily obviously needs more books in her life. It's not like our house is about to overflow with books. So I'll see what y'all got, and I'll get some books.
4 bookshelves full of books is not enough books, apparently.
No. What are we going to do if we get bored? Let me get the book.
3 days later.
So the company has the series of touchy-feely books, and it's like legitimately like a huge series of that's not my fill in the blank. There's dog, there's unicorn. I think there's even like dinosaur. I don't remember exactly. I had quite a few options, but because we have a family farm and like we were going to visit the farm soon, or I was like, Lily doesn't have enough farm books and it was like, I don't want to do like unicorn because unicorns are like seen as more girly. I ended up with That's Not My Cow. And so like, it's like, that's not my cow. Its nose is too rough. And you can feel how rough the nose is. And it's like, this is too soft. But then there's That's Not My Cow. Its udder is too smooth. And then you violate a cow. Like, what? I didn't read this book a whole lot until we went to the farm the most recent time with our friends. Because I was like, okay, this is probably going to be the last time that Lily's going to go to the farm. So I need to grab every book that we have that has farm in the title or is farm adjacent. So for reading any books out there, they're always about a farm. And so I'm reading Lily this book and I'm like, oh, look, we're doing some sensory activities. We're learning about all of these different words and how they relate to actual things. And then our friends are sitting around the kitchen table talking. And then all of a sudden they're like record scratch, and they're like, wait, what did you just say? What am I touching on this cow? What is going on? And I'm like, I guess that's a little bit awkward. Yeah, you do have a point there. So maybe we could have thought of some other body parts to use instead of udders. I don't know.
Our friends went there, and they went to a place where a toddler's mind
would never go.
And now, remember that episode of How I Met Your Mother when they attack each other's habits?
Oh, yeah.
I think Marshall chews loudly.
No, Lily chews loudly, but Marshall never notices.
Yeah, and then Barney points that out, and now that's all Marshall notices now.
Yeah, and he's like, how did I live with this? I don't even know.
Yeah, so They completely ruined this book. So thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Y'all are the best.
Shout out to our friends who may or may not even be listening to this.
At least one of them listens, I hope. I guess we'll find out after today.
Yeah. Caroline, I noticed that you have an adult beverage in front of you. What are you drinking?
I am currently drinking a Frisch's Pumpkin Pie Ale from Taft Brewing. It is 6% and 30 IBUs. Their description is, the two biggest boys of Cincinnati have come together for one special beer. Hints of cinnamon, ginger, and nutmeg combine with lactose and vanilla for a smooth, creamy finish, better than Grandma used to make. Now, I will slightly argue about the better than Grandma used to make because there is no whipped cream with this, and everyone knows the perfect ratio of pumpkin pie to whipped cream is 1-to-1. So, if I can see pumpkin pie underneath my whipped cream, there is not enough whipped cream on my pumpkin pie.
I think that's what the lactose is for.
Maybe. I just know that since it has lactose in it, it's going to be Marco's favorite beer ever. So that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
It's really yummy. And I'm still super bummed that I was pregnant with Elliot last year and couldn't drink this. But I get to drink it this year, so it's fine. Everything's fine now. We're fine over here. How are you? So what are you drinking, Mr. I'm going to just keep derailing my wife, who's trying to hold the show together.
Yeah, that's a lost cause at this point. So I dug deep into the beer fridge, and I noticed that we had Bock beer in the very back.
Wait. I want the Bock beer.
I think there's one more down there.
You just tolerate Bock season. I love Bock season.
Hey, I loved Bock season before you. I introduced you to Bock season.
Whatever. What are you drinking?
I am drinking a Bock beer from Sonder Brewing.
Ooh.
I don't think we've had them on the show before.
I don't think we have either. But I started listening to their podcast.
Yeah, so on the can, we'll get to that. But Sonder Brewing is based in Mason, Ohio. I've never been there, but I've heard that they have some land, a couple acres at least, right?
Yeah, that's what my understanding is.
And then they have a tap room too. So, and they have a bunch of events out there. They just had their Oktoberfest a couple months ago. They had Brews in the Burbs, I think it was called. Something in the Burbs. But this is called William Goat. It's a Bock beer. It's a multi-dark lager decoction brewed in true German style, bringing out caramel and cracker notes with a balanced malty taste and a slightly chocolate finish. It says, keep cool, consume quick. Whoops. I didn't follow directions apparently. And let's see what.
I mean, sometimes it's pretty rare that we actually drink beers on time.
The ABV is 6.8 and it doesn't have any IBUs. So, and at the top of the can, it says Sonder, which is a noun. And the definition is the realization that each person has a unique story.
Wait, you have a unique story compared to mine?
Listen to the William Goat story. Chapter 3 of the Sonder podcast. So shout out to the Sonder Stories podcast, which is way, way, way past chapter 3. I think they're in the 70s.
Yeah, they're in the 70s now.
And they hang out and they really like country music apparently.
I haven't gotten to that part of the podcast yet, but yeah, but I also haven't gotten to like we're starting a Spotify playlist part of the podcast yet either.
But they really like country music. According to our friends at Truth Beer and Consequences, they really like country music. This is really good. And even though it's not box season, which is in late February, early March,
box season.
Really enjoy this beer, even though I did not follow the directions of keep cool, consume quick.
I mean, we did keep it cool, so we at least did half of it.
Yeah, 50% is still failing though.
Hey, not in my physics classes in college. They curved that stuff a lot. Good times.
All right. So cheers to the weekend, and Lord help us in the week ahead, because starting tomorrow, we are going to have to do it all over again. More crazy adventures are ahead, and we will make sure to share them with you each week right here on the Craft Parenting Podcast. On to the main topic of the show, which is all about the pumpkin patch.
So, slight disclaimer, we have only been to one family farm since getting children. So, like in the last decade or so, because we didn't really do this when we were dating. Now, if we had started dating now, we'd probably be going to a pumpkin patch every year because, hey, that's what everybody's doing and we should do that too. But we didn't really look into pumpkin patches.
Get out the boots with the fur.
It's Han Solo season. You've heard that before, right?
Very briefly.
Yeah, because all of the girls wear like really high leather boots with skinny pants and white shirts with vests and vaguely look like Han Solo. It's a thing.
I'm looking up the memes.
My favorite is like the picture of like a group of girls where it's like you can tell that they probably didn't do this on purpose. And they all look very similar in the way they are dressed.
Han Solo season is upon us. Yeah. There's a Halloween costume for quote Han Solo.
I mean, just dress like a basic white girl drinking a pumpkin spice latte, and you've pretty much got a Han Solo costume.
Speaking of boots with fur, I vaguely remember the Gnarly Gnome doing a spot. I don't know if it was a promotional thing or if it was Prost or what it was. I just remember a video of the Gnarly Gnome, who is a beer blogger here in Cincinnati, doing a video for, I think it was Braxton's pumpkin spice seltzer.
There is a pumpkin spice seltzer, and I do believe one of them is Vive. So that would make sense.
Right. So they use the brand Vive, you're right, but it's owned by Braxton. And he was doing a spot for it, and it reminded me of the Wayne's World scene where they're making fun of sponsorships.
Oh, yeah.
And Garth is in a full outfit of like Pepsi, and he puts his feet up on the table.
He says, like, I'll never sell out, man.
Yeah.
Wearing, like, Pepsi shoes.
Yeah. Someone needs to take a screenshot of Garth and the Gnarly Gnome. And the Gnarly Gnome is going on about, we don't need pumpkin spice seltzer. Then he grabs one and he puts his feet up and he's wearing boots with fur.
I'm going to have to look for that. I don't think I've seen that.
I'll have to show it to you.
So we've been to the same family farm for the last 2 autumns or falls because we're in America. Leaf fall down. That is the name of the season and the action of what the leaves do. And it seems like every time we go, it's like summer weather. So we're like, oh, let's get these really cute fall photos. And like half an hour after we get there, we're dying because, oh my goodness, it is so freaking hot. But we need cute fall family photos. So we're going to look like it's fall, dang it.
Last year we went super early.
So last year we went the first weekend they were open because because COVID was a thing. Lily was still little, so she was still we weren't being as cautious, but we still had the don't let Lily get sick in the back of our minds. We were trying to avoid huge crowds.
The NICU doctor said 2 years old.
2 years old, and you're more
clear.
you're not necessarily like clear, but she'll be more like a normal kid.
She'll be caught up.
Yeah.
Because she started behind, and by 2 years old, she'll be caught up. Quote.
Yeah. So we got there early in the season. We got there early in the day, which I mean, still seems like the right thing to do because we really attempted to do that this year and we kind of succeeded. But man, is it hard to leave the house with 2 young kids on any sort of time.
It's very difficult with a toddler because she gets so distracted.
She does. We're like, let's get your shoes on. And she's like, wait, but I didn't help you feed the dogs this morning. And it's like, honey, Daddy already fed the dogs. We don't have to worry about that. And Zoe's just there like, yes, human, feed me more food. I'm starving. I haven't had anything to eat today. And we're like, don't listen to the puppy dog of lies. She just wants to deceive you.
She is very deceptive, that puppy dog who we call Zoe. She was on the edge of her patience level. I don't know what that means, but she was losing her patience with Lily because Lily was, quote, feeding Zoe. And Zoe, we don't feed her, with a regular bowl.
No, she gets a puzzle toy because otherwise she eats too fast.
Yeah, and Clara has a slow feeder, but Zoe...
Just because Clara wants to feel included?
I guess.
And now won't eat without it.
Yeah, she loves that thing. Clara is afraid of metal bowls, so that's a whole nother conversation.
Where did we get her again?
She's supposedly a farm dog. She was born in a barn, but she doesn't like dewy grass because she's a princess. I don't know.
We love her.
Over there. She's actually over there. Our producer is here, you guys.
Oh, I better be on my best behavior then.
Our executive producer is sleeping, so he's not even in our ear doing his job. Like, what is he doing?
That's why we're off the rails.
I think Clara is sleeping too, so...
I mean, she
Is the show
is.
produced if our producers are sleeping?
I don't know. So, getting us back to the topic that is pumpkin patches. So, look in your area to see what kind of pumpkin patch options you have. If you're in a mom's group, those are usually really helpful for finding stuff that's in your area and kind of getting the lowdown on which ones are the best.
That's surprising. Facebook being helpful.
In some instances. It just kind of depends on what kind of information you're looking for. So I'm not even sure. I don't even know how I found the farm that we go to, but it's quote unquote free admission. So you can walk around their grounds for free. And then they have like pumpkins that you can choose from right there. And they have like a little play village for the kids. They've got a little playground for the kids. But if you want to actually go pick your own pumpkin in the field, well, it's $5 a person over the age of 3 to get on the hay wagon. And then for the first year, Lily got to enjoy the barrel train, which are a bunch of big 55-gallon drum blue barrels with wheels attached to the back of a tractor.
And seatbelts, apparently.
Yeah, and seatbelts, which is good.
I
Because
mean,
who knows what Lily would do without
I
a
thought-
seatbelt.
I was worried they didn't have any seatbelts. I mean, these are handmade things, right?
Yep.
They aren't manufactured. There's no safety standard that they're following.
Not to my knowledge.
And they had this teenager driving the tractor. It was this little Ford tractor, and she looked like she hated her job. She's like,
She did not look like she was living her best life.
Dad or Grandpa is making me do this, and I hate it with every fiber of my being.
I mean, in her defense, it could be that this is like, she's like 19 and this is her like 16th summer working there, or 16th fall season working there, because usually operations like that, the whole family is involved come harvest season. So she might have just been like, why do I have to do this again? But Lily had a blast, man. She just went, she got on. She was like, okay, I'm all strapped in. Let's go do this thing. I put her in the caboose because she's a cool kid and I could do that. They went and did their little loopy-doop thing, and Lily came back and she was so excited. And of course, as soon as I stopped recording my video was when she said, fun, and started clapping like a maniac. And I'm like, ugh, I always turn off the camera too soon.
Yeah. And she was just fresh off her recent trip to Kings Island.
Yeah, so everything is hands in the air. Woohoo!
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Yeah, she knew what to do. That's for sure.
So, see what kind of local family farms are in your area. Personally, the one that we go to is Brown's Family Farm Market.
It's in Ross
It's in Ross, Ohio.
on 128.
It's right next to Stricker's Grove. And Stricker's Grove was open, or was open, and I think they were saying something about Customer Appreciation Day. So it could be that you could, like, especially if your kids are older, you could overlap and like go do the pumpkin patch thing and then go do the Stricker's Grove thing. Our kids are still at the point where like 2 or 3 hours at the pumpkin patch and they are done.
Yeah, for sure they were. We were on the brink of a meltdown.
We were. I mean, and in Elliot's defense, it was 75-ish plus degrees outside.
It was like 80.
In the sun, it felt like 80. In the shade, it felt like closer to 70. But he was not here for the warmth.
Poor guy. He had his outfit assigned to him, which was a black.
It was a black hoodie that said, I'm beautiful, with a ghost on it.
Yeah.
Because his only other fall outfit was Thanksgiving themed, and we needed a cute family photo. So
Long sleeve, long pants.
I brought him a onesie to put on afterwards.
Yeah, so what did he wear after we got all the pictures?
A diaper. And he was happy.
He was. He was naked.
He was in a diaper.
Okay.
That counts as clothing.
I guess so.
So after we got there, the first thing we did was put Lily on the barrel train, because we're like, we want to do this before the line potentially gets too long, because we realized that you have like 0 patience because you're 2. And then we went to go take some pictures with the family, because
we did. Yeah.
the Brown's Family Farm is great. They have all of these little displays set up where you can just stop, and it's even like every 20 feet you can stop and have some kind of photo opportunity if you so desire.
And on the far side of the field, they have sunflowers.
Yeah, and they have sunflowers, so I think you can go through the sunflower field. Actually, I'm not quite sure if they're not like the giant sunflowers, but they're really pretty flowers.
Yeah. And my mom wanted pictures of us by the sunflowers, as one does, because they're beautiful.
And so we go over there, and Lily decides that she wants to run towards the barrel train route.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, honey, no, let me go get you. Oh, wait, you're going too fast. Let me run after you. Oh, no, my ankle. Why am I laying down on the ground?
You found the only ditch on that field.
I have a way of doing that. I super sprained my ankle.
You did.
Like,
yes.
I don't know if I've ever sprained my ankle this bad before. Because I actually went to urgent care. I love my husband. There's going to be a blog post that was posted like 2 or 3 weeks ago as of this episode being released. That is him telling his version of events and how much he loves and adores me. And
so much.
how I am not a super clumsy person.
I never use the word clumsy. It's about me failing our wedding vows. Duh.
My goodness, you're so dramatic. So, fortunately, we had brought Lily's grandmothers and aunt with us. So we had really good ratio on children to adults. So I was able to kind of sit in the shade and figure out what I had done and what I was going to do with my life now that I have gotten this injury. Because, of course, no matter what, I have to get to the car somehow. And the car's forever away. And it's like 11:30 at this point. But we have tickets to get on the hay wagon at noon to go pick pumpkins. And by golly, we're going to all go do that. And we're going to enjoy it. So that's going to happen. And fortunately, after like 15 to 20 minutes of just sitting down and not really doing anything, I was pretty much fine enough to get around the farm using Elliot's stroller as a walker. Your mom found some ice so I could ice it a little bit. Lily got to run around their children's maze. That's not really a maze. It's like a children's play place thing. They have a bunch of different areas for kids to play. It's great.
They don't have a sandbox. They have a gravel box. Multiple gravel boxes.
Which, hey, I prefer the gravel box to the sandbox.
Agreed.
Because
the sand gets in the hair. It gets in the diapers.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere.
And they have dump trucks and I guess tractor wheels, like old tractor wheels.
yeah, giant tractor wheels. So Lily didn't quite know what to do with the gravel pits, but she still had a blast.
They have animals.
They have animals, so Lily got to pet a goat. She got to see some chickens.
Oh, did she actually pet them?
She did.
I missed that.
And then
She picked out a mini pumpkin.
Yep, she got to pick out her own mini pumpkin.
Which I guess we'll keep inside.
Yes, so the mini pumpkins stay inside for Lily to interact with so we can learn what nature is and remember what pumpkins are. But she's really good at saying pumpkin. It's not quite 100%, but she's got like 90% of it.
And if you ask her what a ghost says, what does she say?
Boo.
That's a new one because apparently my mom taught her that.
Your mother's been working on it with her.
Yeah, and no one has told me that she was being worked on for that specific phrase.
In a previous life, your mom was a preschool teacher, so she loves living her old job through Lily.
Oh yeah, she was room mother in my kindergarten year, and she came in and she told the pumpkins on a gate thing, but she crafted a gate with pumpkins, but they had Velcro on them, so
Oh, nice.
so you could put the I'm pretty sure that maybe that was a fever dream. I don't know.
It could have just been felt, because felt usually sticks to itself pretty well. But
And she came in and she told that story on Halloween.
So,
Pretty sure.
Yeah, but then, so after Halloween is over, she will start working on turkey stuff. And then as soon as Thanksgiving is over, it is, what does Santa say? And then she like drills these things into Lily's head. And Lily just becomes way more adorable, which I didn't think was possible.
Elliot will be able to interact soon. He's grunting, like he's finding his voice.
Yeah.
He really wants to talk and walk and do what Big Sister does.
So much. But so just be careful when walking around the farm. And then we got to ride on the hay wagon, which is definitely a highlight of the trip for Lily, to go to a pumpkin patch. So the farm that we go to has about 4 acres of pumpkins. They plop you down in the middle of it and say, pick whatever pumpkin you want. Some farms will say the cost of the pumpkin is included in the cost of your hay wagon ride. Ours does not. So Brown's doesn't do that. You pay by the pound, which is one of the reasons why they have pumpkins available without even having to take a hay wagon ride. So we go out into the pumpkin field and you have to kind of dig through to figure out what pumpkin you personally would like to take home. This year, Joe got to do most of the digging because I'm a little slow and a little tender.
That's one way to put it.
But I got to hang back with Elliot and just watch everybody be crazy. If I was feeling a lot better, I would have recreated our photo from last year where I am in almost the middle of pumpkin patch because I didn't like any of the pumpkins that I was seeing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going until I find something that I like. And found a pumpkin, and it wasn't huge, but it was bigger than all the other ones we had been looking at. And I've got it resting on my belly, and it was a really cute photo.
Because last year you had a belly,
I did.
like a pregnant belly.
Yeah, because last year I was pregnant. So I had that big pregnancy belly. It wasn't super big yet. And you can grab as many pumpkins as you want. Just know that you're going to be paying for them. So we ended up with 8 pumpkins between 7 people.
The 2 households.
Yeah, between the 2 households, we ended up with 8 pumpkins, which I know is super fun for you because you had to carry most of them. So Brown's Family Market, where we go, they have wagons that you can find and then use to cart your pumpkins around after you pick out the ones that you want and bring them back home. We'll bring them back from your hay wagon ride.
Yeah, they have quite a few wagons. They're little wagons that you might, pull your kids around in or whatever. But people use them and then they put them on the side or whatever. I couldn't find any. Like I was like circling the area.
Yeah, so because we had sent Joe to go find a wagon, and then all of a sudden I hear your mom say, "Wait, tell Joey I found one," and because somebody had just parked one in the middle of the place where we were, and she was like, "Ours. This is ours now." And I was like, "Sweet, okay, tell the husband."
Yeah, so the cash registers are at the very end of a 3-tent complex.
It's a nice little farmer's market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can get corn, various Amish goods, some not Amish goods, some treats.
Yeah, I was going to say that they source their products from family farms and Amish people. I purchased some honey for Larry because he likes honey. He seems really interested in locally sourced honey.
Well, he used to be a beekeeper. He had 2 or 3 hives.
Of course he did. He's done everything.
He's done a lot of things.
But yeah, he seems like he's interested in locally sourced honey. So I found some honey for him. I actually don't know if what I purchased him was locally sourced, but I'm assuming it was because it was by the Amish stuff.
I didn't get to read the label, so I don't know.
Yeah, neither did I. I was like, kids, it's hot. The kids are gonna...
It's hot. The kids were kind of done.
I was barking orders because we had all these people helping us and no one was they were just standing there. So I'm like, Lily needs a snack. There's snacks in the cooler. Get the cooler. Get her the snack. Get her water. Elliot needs a diaper change.
You did take command. You're really good at that. So you can know if you're going to be there for a few hours, you want to bring some food, or know what kind of food they're going to have available. Brown's brings in some food trucks. So we got some barbecue off of one of the food trucks. That was pretty tasty.
Oh, yeah, it was very good. I really liked the sauce, which was really spicy.
Yeah, I got you the spicy sauce.
Yeah. The bees were very bad, though.
The bees have been really weird this year.
Yeah. I don't know if it was... My sister said she put in hairspray.
No, because, they weren't great when we were at Kings Island either. I've seen them around more than usual. Hopefully that means that they're doing well, because I know for a while we were concerned about bee populations.
I don't know if these are sweat bees. I don't think we're worried about the sweat bee population.
I've seen a lot more honeybees too.
I think we're more worried about the bumblebees. I don't know. I don't really follow that too much. I have too much other stuff to worry about. Oh, our producer woke up. Hello, producer.
She's like, keep it down. I'm trying to sleep over here.
Yeah, so they They really wanted our food and my mom's drink, and there was a bee in it, went inside her drink.
Well, spoilers, we were out in nature. Because the other thing to keep in mind is that these places are usually just farmers markets. They're not necessarily super large businesses. So you might have a sink and some porta potties as far as what you're able to use for, I don't know, what am I looking for? Looking for words.
Well, I mean, to talk about the bathroom situation, if you do have kids who are potty trained, they don't have any flushies. They have porta potties.
Yeah.
But if you have kids in diapers, they don't have flushies or anywhere to change your kid. They have porta potties.
But that's what strollers are for.
Yeah. So
But Elliot likes to roll, which is annoying.
I guess just be prepared for that. You can always change them in the back of your car, I guess.
Yeah.
If you absolutely have to. That's actually, in my opinion, a better decision than the stroller because, as you alluded to, Elliot rolls and
He doesn't like to help.
he gets very distracted. He's at the rolling stage and
He's at the rolling and very easily distracted stage of life.
yeah, Lily was there too. Now she is kind of cooperative when you change her diaper.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So you never know what you'll find in the market. And keep in mind too, if all you want to do is go pick up pumpkins from a local market instead of going to Kroger, you can also go during the week. We might have to see what their hours are, though then you won't be able to do things like go on hay rides because usually their hay rides and stuff are only on the weekends.
So you're saying you won't be able to go out into the field and pick?
Correct. You'll just have to choose from whatever they already have out.
Yeah, there was a house there. There's a house in the middle of the property, and there were signs that said, "This is a residence. Please do not enter."
Yeah.
So I guess
because it is a family farm.
Yeah, people do live there to take care of the crops. I think he said it was 4.5 acres.
Of just pumpkins.
Oh, of just pumpkins.
They also had corn and sunflowers, and they had some other stuff too.
Oh, did they? Good for them. He said during his spiel on the hayride that this year was a good year for pumpkins because we had a very wet July.
Yeah, which is the start. Well, it's towards the beginning of pumpkin season.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but that's what he said. He told us that they had a really good year for pumpkins.
And we did have a lot of good pumpkins to choose from. I feel like we had more than we did last year, but we also were later in the season this year than we were last year.
Right.
And we have basically barely scratched the surface of things that Lily and older than Lily children can do at this farm. So I'm super stoked to see how it's going to go from year to year because she barely played on the playground. She didn't go into any of the barns. She didn't look at any of the animals other than the goats and the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And she barely played in their little village this year. She played in the little village a lot last year, but she also couldn't walk a whole lot last year. So that might have had something to do with it.
Right. She wanted to go down those slides because they had, I think, 4 sets of slides.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not 4 sets, maybe just 4 slides total. And the steps, instead of the plasticky stuff that you get on an actual play set, they had bales of hay.
Hey, if you can do it, do it. I need the bales of hay anyway.
So it really enjoyed climbing up the hay and going in the slides. I don't know how many times she went down. I'm guessing it was as many as possible, but eventually I had to take her away from the slide and she did not like that.
She never likes that.
No.
What are you doing, Dad? That's my favorite. This is my jam.
Yeah, a few episodes ago, we talked about that switch that flicked when she turned 2. And she has the I'm going to go weightless mentality down to a science.
Oh, no, the dead weight?
Yeah, the dead weight.
Yeah, she's getting a lot better at that. It's problematic.
Yeah, who taught her that?
Not me.
Yeah, she did that and she cried and we were like, we have to go over here with Oma. And then after I pulled her away, we met up with you guys and everyone was eating or finishing eating. And then when we were done, I told the lady to say bye and she said, bye, love you, mwah.
Oh my goodness. Now, granted, I think that's how she thinks she needs to say bye to most people, but it still doesn't make it any less adorable.
Yeah, and then she was like, bye, pumpkin. pumpkin.
Everything. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Our daughter. What are we going to do? She's too cute.
And then when we were saying bye-bye to my mom and Jenna, she was like, bye-bye, Oma.
Yeah, but she's like definitely at a good age for pumpkin patches.
Oh, yeah.
We went on the hayride. We were across from these two teenagers who like weren't super bummed to be there, but definitely were like, yeah, we're just here because we need to get pumpkins for Halloween. Like, this is not fun. And Lily's like, this is the best thing ever.
Are you talking about the guy with the AirPods in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering why he was there too.
Mom or grandma made him. That is why he was there.
I think that does it for our pumpkin patch experience. We don't have a lot of experience because we only have a 2-year-old and we've only been since she was born.
Yeah.
We didn't go when she was literally born, like as a newborn.
I mean, you can do that if you want to, and we do know people who have done that / do that with their children. I mean, Elliot's like the youngest kid that I would want to take to a pumpkin patch.
Lily was born September 1st and she was in the NICU for 16 days.
So when she got out, it was like the start of pumpkin patch season, and we're like, this is how Lily gets a cold or the flu, and we end up back in a NICU, and we do not want to do that.
Right. Yeah, we didn't do it that first year she was born because of those reasons, but then we did it for her first year, like right after her first birthday, and then this year right after her second birthday.
It's definitely different going around with her when she can walk more.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she also doesn't really walk. She just kind of runs.
She does. But you sing that rhyme that Hillary taught you, and she actually does it.
Oh, yeah, I did. It was so adorable. So Hillary taught Lily running, 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 hop, hop, hop. Marching, 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 now we stop. And you're supposed to do what the little song says while you're doing it, while you're singing it. And Lily really has down the running part.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of has down the walking part, or has the hopping part down. But today she did it. She ran and then she hopped, and she doesn't quite get marching yet, so it was more of a walk.
Mm-hmm.
But normally whenever I say, and now we stop,
She
just
ignores
starts
you.
running. But she stopped. And I was like, whoa, is this how I can maybe get the child to pause for half a second now? We'll see.
Yeah. And to circle back on the whole you twisted your ankle thing, you're fine.
I'm fine. I have a brace because I already had a brace.
You got an x-ray. It's not broken.
Nope. And I got crutches, which could be slightly overkill, but considering I'm running around after 2 small children in the house, like I'm resting as much as I can, but when they're not sleeping, it's hard-ish to rest. I really need to take it easy whenever I do have to actually get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So probably be on crutches for a few days. But I just made a little holder for my phone.
Oh, nice. You would do that. And when you say you made it, what do you mean by that?
I crocheted it while we were recording the podcast.
Maybe we'll take a picture of it.
Because I'm so cool.
Take a picture of it and show it on your Facebook.
We'll have to put your phone in it to do that then.
Or Instagram or whatever.
Can Instagram that shiznit.
I think that does it for pumpkin patches.
Yeah, it was kind of discombobulated. We love you guys. We'll be better next time, we promise.
The only thing I will say about the pumpkin patch, now that we just
ended that segment,
said we were stopping, when you think of like farms and fall, you might think like apple cider, like not even hard apple cider, but like just normal apple cider. To my knowledge, they did not have apple cider that you could buy and drink there.
No, I think they might have had like half-gallon batches. They didn't have an apple orchard there, as far as I know.
No, correct. They didn't have. No, that's probably the reason they don't do apples. So if you are craving apple cider, Brown's Farm isn't they don't have it.
Yeah, but there are places where you can get like literally apple everything. Like you could even get like an apple slushie, because I have some people in my friends group that are like, hey, no judgment. People need to help me know where these things are because I need to hit all of these things this fall. And if we really wanted to, maybe one year we will, when the kids are a smidgen older, we could hit up a different pumpkin patch every weekend, like Brian and Graham did with Oktoberfests, but family friendly with pumpkin patches. To close out our episode of Pumpkin Patches, do you have a dad joke that will actually make me laugh? I mean, you already made me laugh once, so let's see if we can do it again.
This is episode 33. And how many episodes did I have a dad joke?
Most of them?
And I've only made you laugh once.
Yep. We'll see if we can get your average up.
All right. So for my dad joke of the week, I have 2 jokes just for you.
2 chances to make me laugh. Go for it.
All right. What did the pumpkin say at happy hour?
I don't know. What?
Let's get smashed.
Oh. You did it.
You got a chuckle.
It's like a play on words. It's cute.
All right. I have another one. Are you ready?
Oh, snap. What's your other one?
All right. So why was the jack-o'-lantern afraid?
I don't know. Why?
It had no guts.
Oh, my goodness.
Like pumpkin guts. It was gutted after a pumpkin carving.
You're getting better at these,
I
I
am.
guess. Yeah.
Hey, audience, where are you at? Is this thing on? There they are. That does it for this week's show. Thanks so much for listening. We want to hear from you. If you have ideas for a show topic, if you have comments about a previous show, maybe you really liked it, or perhaps you learned something new. There are many ways to get in touch with us to give us this feedback. Send us an email at craftparentingpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Craft Parenting Podcast to get more updates on when new episodes have dropped. See pictures of our adorable kids and more.
If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. Make sure to share the show with your friends and your family. It really helps our show grow. You can also send us stuff to our awesome P.O. Box.
And all of this information is available on our website, which is www.craftparentingpodcast.com. So make sure you go check it out.
That's where we post the show notes. Plus, we've been writing tons of blog posts, like the one where Joe says how I'm an awesome wife and I never get injured ever.
Never, ever.
It's not like I have a whole closet of braces upstairs. What?
If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the show. We are listed on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and just about every podcast app out there. And with that, I'm Joe.
And I'm Caroline.
See you next time on the Craft Parenting Podcast.
We could do a yawn count, but it would only be for us because we don't put any of the yawns into the episode. But this is what happens when you record a podcast after 9 o'clock at night and you have very small children who aren't actually very small because your children are basically giants.
We didn't even talk about how we were changing our name to the Craft Parenting Podcast.
No, we completely glossed over that. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Craft Parenting Podcast.
Do we have to give Julia and Marco a commission on that?
They can have 50% of our profits from this specific episode where we make $0 in profits.
Yeah. Perhaps we will send them a gift.
We should send them a gift. We should totally do that. Okay, so... Sorry, I had a burp.
Wait, what does that mean? Are we part of the drinking game?
I don't know. We could come up with a drinking game, but
No, one already exists for shift beers.
I know, but I don't think we're part of that drinking game.
Oh.
I mean, I could drink more and then we could maybe be part of that drinking game, but then I'd be really, really tired Sunday morning and I still have to take care of 2 small children. So
You would have a sinus infection.
I would probably have a sinus infection, quote unquote. I hate sand. It's coarse and rough and it gets everywhere.